Hey everybody, I'm Buzzy Sullivan. Most days I am a photographer based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and some days I am a photo educator also based out of Phoenix, Arizona. Today I want to talk with you about this book right here, The Unphotographable. This book came out in 2013, published by Frankel Gallery. I think it is a really intriguing collection of images that span the whole history of photography, that push against the idea of photography's ability to trace what the world looks like. Before I move on, I want to share what Jeffrey Frankel wrote in the intro to this book and how he describes the unphotographable. So he describes the unphotographable abstract as thought, time, ghosts, God, and dreams. So let's dive into it. Dive into the unphotographable. I am far too long-winded to cover every image in this book, but I do recommend you spend some time with it if you get the chance. The book is separated into 5 sections. We're going to start with this image right here. This is an Alfred Stieglitz equivalence from 1931, and we have a very humble quote on the left-hand page from Stieglitz. It says, "Several people feel I have photographed God." So very down to earth, but I think it touches on this idea that we desperately want photographs to show us something that we don't see in the everyday, right? We want it to be our kind of connection to the spiritual or the abnormal. So I want to create a couple relationships between images in this exhibition. So here's another image that relates back to the Stieglitz photo. So this is a image that was made in 1914 by a man named William Wilding. It's titled "Nature's Mystic Apparition of Christ." Wilding was out making photos of these like beautiful snow-capped landscape, and he ended up with this image of the representation of Jesus Christ with the halo and the crown of thorns and all that stuff right there, which I think is right. It relates back to that Stieglitz idea. We look to photographs to kind of deliver something that the everyday doesn't. Yeah, so I want to skip around, do another picture. Let's see, right here. So we have a Wolfgang Tillmans, this is a mental picture. It's mental picture number 97, and I love that the curatorial decision to pair this image in sequence with this image right behind it, which is an image that was made in 1897 by Carl Wernick, and it is the brain's frontal section, right? So I love the relationship between the scientific, right, the brain's frontal section, and the more abstract mental picture of Wolfgang Tillmans. All right, moving onwards and sideways. We're going to look at the last image. Is an image by Sophie Calle. This is an autobiographies image, obituary about her mother's passing. The image on the left is her mother getting her last pedicure, and the text on the right kind of describes her mother's last. You should pause the video and read the text. Nobody wants to hear me read beautiful words. I do have to dive in and read a couple to you, though. So, I will touch on something here that I think relates back to the COVID era here. So, on March 15th, 2006 at 3 p.m., the last smile, the last breath, somewhere between 3:02 and 3:13, impossible to capture. I think that acknowledgement of photography's inability to capture things, right? The inability of photography to capture her mother dying. I think that relates back to this COVID pandemic that we're currently in. I've been wrestling with the idea of what are the iconic images that will come out of this, and I tend to think that they might not be photographs. I question if photography is the right medium to capture it. I do know that it's not going to be photographs of, or I hope it's not photographs of like face masks and toilet paper and empty shelves, right? I'm more interested in photography's ability to show us how the world feels as opposed to show us what the world looks like. I think about the 1950s Bresson quote about Ansel Adams and Edward Weston, right, where the world is falling to pieces and all Adam and Weston wanted to do was photograph rocks. But I think Adams and Weston were maybe being a little bit more, or leaning a little bit more on metaphor than maybe they would have led on. And I don't just share that quote because I've been spending the pandemic photographing rocks, but because I think we don't want images coming out of this that are nail on the head, right? I think we want the poetic response, right? An instruction manual and a poem are made up of the same things, but function very differently. So, anyhow, thanks for checking the book out with me, and it's The Unphotographable, Frankel Gallery. Bye.